Live from the Las Vegas Strip Studio in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Bettor Center Live. I'm your host, Brad Stein. Welcome. Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we have a wonderful show. We're going to talk football, baseball, a little bit basketball, plus the most interesting play of the day. Don't forget to watch us daily, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on LouisDiamond.com. Also, YouTube at Louis Diamond. In segment one, we're going to be joined by three wonderful professional handicappers, part of our team. And then segment two, we're going to have another three come and join the panel. Let's introduce those first three guys. We're going to bring them out right now. We have Louis Diamond, Tony G, and Dell W. Welcome to the show, guys.
Morning, Brad.
Hey, good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Brad.
Tony G, what did you learn from yesterday? I heard you talking before about the Thursday night football game.
Wow. Yeah. I went against what I thought was the right play, took the points in Cincinnati, and thanks to Baker Mayfield's a little bit of greed there with about 11 minutes left in the game when they've been running the ball up and down the field on like a 5-minute drive carried over from the end of the third quarter. He throws a deep pass trying to get the home run ball, and it gets picked off. And ultimately, that turnover led to the back door there in the final minute of the game. It's actually thank you, Baker, for being consistently inconsistent and allowing me to get the backdoor cover last night. That's what I learned. Don't trust Baker Mayfield.
But he did win the game, and he threw more touchdowns than interceptions.
I'm not going to give a ton of credit to Cleveland for that game. It was an easy, nice, clean win, but you can see they were against a hapless team. So from the quarterback perspective, he got more than 200 yards rushing from his backs.
Oh, I know.
I mean, what did he really have to do last night? He was under no duress, got no pass rush, really didn't have to make any key decisions. And like I said, the one time he took a shot, it got picked off. So,
Louis D, I know you're a big Burrow fan. He looked good. He was under a lot of duress, and he made some pretty good throws. No mistakes. What were your thoughts? What did you learn yesterday?
I'm pretty sure he's going to be under duress a lot this season. And, 61 passes. They're not afraid to put him right there, to put him out there. And he doesn't have a great offensive line. He needs a little help there, and that's what's really going to make this kid shine. So I learned that he'll have some struggles, but it's because of the cast that's around him, I really believe. And obviously young and a little inexperienced. Pretty interesting to see that this is the first time he said he ever has lost 2 games in his whole athletic career in a row. So we'll see how he responds from that.
Dell W, I know where you're going with this. What you learned, your Miami Heat are up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics. Boston had a pretty big lead, and that third quarter was abysmal for the Boston Celtics. And Brad Stevens, who's usually pretty even-tempered, looked a little peed off. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely learned that the Heat are definitely a team to be reckoned with. They continue to be dogs in these games, and they continue to beat them outright. So Heat are definitely going to be something. And to touch on that Baker Mayfield thing, I was on the Browns, and getting backdoor like that was a little unfortunate. All he had to do was kind of hand the ball off. He had, I think, 250 yards from both of his backs. Just hand the ball off. And he got a little bit greedy, threw that pick, and we got backdoored. But it's fine. We'll move on from that.
Gentlemen, that brings us to game number 1, which is the Nuggets at the Lakers. Game number 1 of the Western Conference Finals. It opened up plus 1.5 for the Lakers. It is now -7. And the over-under opened at 209.5 and is now 210. Louis D, take us away with your thoughts of game number 1.
Well, Denver has really been stepping up the defense, and Lakers are pretty much the defense. So I got to look at this to be an underplay. The question is, we saw what the Nuggets did in game 1 of the last series, and then they rebounded back after a big game 7-game series. Now, are they going to have that same thing, that first game? That kind of concerns me a little bit. If anything, I got to lean on the under here today. Just a lean.
Gulledge, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to follow this pattern. I think the Lakers win this series in 5 or 6 games, but based on how they started the past two series, almost disinterested. The first game against the Rockets, that was basically it was a walkthrough. The Lakers did it like a dress rehearsal in game one. I'm kind of hoping, it's almost like a boxing match where you're just filling out your opponent and you're willing to give them a round or something, just to see what they got. Give me your best shot. Let me see what you got. Oh, you won that one, but you know what? We're going to kick your ass from here on out. Kind of hoping that's the situation. So I'm going to back and play Denver tonight, plus the points in game one, looking to kind of repeat that pattern where the Lakers, like I say, just almost disinterested. They're interested, but it just seems in their intensity is not there in the game ones. For whatever reason, I hope it continues tonight, taking Denver here.
It does feel like LBJ over his career has, I guess, kind of picked the opposing coach's brain, said, you know what, let's see what they throw at us, and I'm going to make some adjustments. Del W, I saw you shaking your hand, or your head and hand. I'm assuming you agree with Tony G.
Yeah, I mean, basically everything Tony G was going to say, I was going to say too. Lakers, they came out against Portland, they lost game one. Same thing against the Rockets, came out, lost game one. I like the Nuggets here. I mean, they match up well with teams. They got a lot of good size. They got shooters in every position. And that pick and roll game with Murray and Jokic is really good, hard to defend. Lakers got size. They don't really got that three-point shooting. It did show up last series versus the Rockets, but it's kind of hard to be consistent when you're not consistently a great three-point shooting team. But I do like the Nuggets here at +7. I do like the points. I also like them on the money line. I got them at 240, I believe. Just hoping that the Lakers, just like Tony says, fill out their opponent, come out weak game one. It's going to be an interesting series. I think it's going to be a good series, but I'm thinking that the Nuggets take game one today. I like the points, and I like the money line.
How about this? FCS college football tonight on ESPN. Campbell at Coastal Carolina. This is true. It opened up -24.5 Coastal Carolina with an over-under 57. Currently, we're around 60 with the over-under and -28.5 Coastal Carolina. We're going to stay with you, Del W. I would love your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, so I've been tracking Campbell for about a good 5 years now. I think they're 38 and 104 against the spread. I'm just kidding. I have no idea who the hell Campbell is, guys.
Where the hell did you get that?
I got no idea. All I know is like
You
Coastal
tripped us all.
Carolina. They upset Kansas last week. They got a pretty good team. I haven't really looked too deep into this game at all, but it's a really high spread. I think 26.5 right now. I'm not going to be touching it. Maybe under. He's figured two bad teams. I don't know. But I'm going to leave these guys to give you guys a good pick on this.
And we're going to get a good pick right now from Bag of Diamonds. What do you have for us?
I don't know if we'll get a whole bag of diamonds on this, but, I got a little can of beer opinion on this game. Coastal Carolina, big win last week. Actually, the Sun Belt, actually crushed the Big 12 last week, and pretty shockingly. Now the question is, are they going to be able to come back and play with that kind of elevation against an FCS team? I think they're going to actually be a little flat. I think a lot of the move was just based upon a conference mismatch. Conference mismatches are definitely something to be looking for, and you want to play the stronger conference. But, last week, Campbell, they almost beat a Sun Belt team. They lose by 1, and only they went for the 2 and missed out on it last week against Georgia Southern. So they actually had an opportunity to win. I think they're going to be a little bit hungry. I'm kind of liking the points. Open a can of beer and grab some Campbell Camels. The fighting
Tony
Camel.
G. Ooh.
Wow. Well, let's talk about this game. I mean, this is from my part of the country, Coastal Carolina, just off Myrtle Beach, Conway. My parents lived in Myrtle Beach for 30+ years, so it's a party school just west of the beach, Conway, South Carolina, Coastal Carolina. Campbell was a small private school in North Carolina, out in the middle of the boondocks, basically nothing close by. So looking at this game, I think the perception here is going to be that Campbell was a 35-point dog last week, almost won, okay? Almost won. It was ridiculous. 35. You looked at the spread, 35 points is what they were getting last week. Kansas, just laid an egg against Coastal Carolina. Les Miles, I'm not sure Les Miles wants to be a coach after watching that game. I don't know. His team wasn't ready. Kansas I was totally disappointed in what they put out there. So you wonder can I grade Coastal Carolina high? My number in this game was 21. Okay. So I was closer to what the original opening line would, 23, 24. Still think there's no value there, but the perception is on Campbell. So the line just started going the other way. I think I would probably take Campbell and those points here, but I'm not going to bet on it. Just an opinion. If you're going to twist my arm, take Campbell.
I am twisting your arm, but I'm going to twist your leg with some Major League Baseball because the Minnesota Twins are at the Chicago Cubs, opened up minus 130 with an over-under 7.5, and now it's minus 120 with the Cubs. Hill and Hendricks are on the line, so let's start with you, Tony.
Well, I do like this game today. I am taking the Cubs as part of my inner circle plays. GreatWhiteCapper.com. I was trying to pull up my notes here, and of course I'm fumbling through it. I do like Hendricks at home. Cubs some momentum play. Okay, I noted this is a momentum play. Cubs are going for their 5th straight win. You're getting them at, I think I wrote it down 125-ish, 125 range is what I got it at. Momentum play, good spot for the Cubs here. Both good teams. This is kind of matchup you're going to look at, for postseason. And you really with a shortened season, about the 13 start mark, most of these guys are going to be in mid-season form when they hit. So your best starting pitcher should be really at their peak when these playoffs, as opposed to coming into the playoffs with a tired arm trying to win the pennant, doing all the hard work just to get there. So it's going to be a different scenario. I like the Cubs here today. Great matchup and situation with the momentum for the Cubs. And, I think Louis, based on Louis' strategy, maybe even take a look at the under here because I don't think there's going to be a lot of runs tonight.
All right, Lou, under? What do you like?
Of course. Guys, sometimes, I am real easy to figure out. And this is kind of easy to figure out in certain scenarios. Minnesota. Are you not on the train, guys? Listen, 11-mile-an-hour winds blowing directly into home plate today. So they got the wind against you. Now, when you got the south-southwest and blowing out, you got to worry about it. But you got to worry about that wind blowing in. It's blowing in strong. You have Minnesota, who's been dead under. What scares me, though, today to make this a really big play is our pitching. Our pitching has been a little suspect on those unders, especially Rich Hill as of late. I believe he's got 3 out of the last 4 over, 4 out of his last 5 over. But he has pitched 4 out of 5 unders versus the Cubs. So that's a little comforting. But I'm still riding the under, without a doubt. The under here today. Tomorrow will probably be bigger. But we got wind. I like that. Wind's going in our favor. That's good.
That's good.
Right,
I like that. LW, do you like that?
Yeah, I could definitely agree there with Mr. Louis Bag of Diamonds. If I was going to make a play, I'll probably agree with that under. Pitching advantage definitely goes to the Cubs. I could kind of see Tony's perspective as well. As for me, I'm not really going to be touching this game, but both of these cappers made really great points, though.
Well, thank you, Del W. That brings us back to college football. Houston at Baylor. Baylor -7, now around -4 with the over-under at 60, and currently we're at 61.5. We'll go back to the Bag of Diamonds and see what he thinks for college football, Houston at Baylor.
Well, I got to tell you, I have a very strong opinion on this game. Baylor's been a team that I would ride first quarter ride over, and then all of a sudden the scandal broke and kind of broke me on the Baylor train. Always been playing Houston. Love Houston, but their teams have changed a little bit. So these teams have changed a little bit. I got to kind of see what goes on here. As far as the Cougars, they are 21-7-1 as an underdog. So they do show up as an underdog. That's about all I got. I know these guys have a little something more on the game. Let's rock with their opinion.
No pressure, Tony G, but you have a little bit more to add. Houston, Baylor.
I'm actually going to play Baylor in this spot at home. I'm going to question Houston's offense here. Their quarterback left. Houston's left with just a guy that threw damn near as many interceptions as touchdowns when he played, and then the backup is going to be the coach's son. So there's really not a lot left in the Houston cupboard in terms of offense, and I think that's what's going to – they're not going to be able to keep the ball away from Baylor, and even if Baylor – takes a little bit, a quarter or two to get it rolling. I think by the time they get into the third and fourth quarter, they'll be grinding on Houston hard. I think the play here, I see line value, and these teams haven't played much, so hopefully there's a little bit personal, even though the location of the two schools is similar. These guys haven't played much. I look for Baylor to step up the game and get the cover here.
That brings us to Dell Warfield. Your thoughts, please.
Yep. So I agree with Tony here. I'm definitely going to be on Baylor. It's probably going to be one of my favorite plays throughout the weekend. I love Baylor here. They're returning their quarterback here, returning their best running back. I think they're going to be much better than they were last year. As far as Houston, Louis Bag of Diamonds, he brought up a good point there. 21-7, I believe he said. But that was with their, their best quarterback who's now transferred to Miami. So, I mean, they're left with, scrubs at quarterback, and I think that guy kind of carried the team. It's kind of hard to go off of those trends. I kind of want to fade that, and I really like Baylor here. I love the -4. I think this is probably going to be a blowout, so I'm loving Baylor.
Thank you, guys. Coming up next, Tony Cusimano. He is in the hometown of Mike McCarthy, Dan Marino, Joe Montana. Where is he? That's next. You're watching Bettor Center live on YouTube at Louis Diamond and louisdiamond.com.
Brad Stein here live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for Bettor Center Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. Bettor Center Live.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Bettor Center Live on YouTube at Louis Diamond. Also, louisdiamond.com. We're going to go to Tony Cusimano in about 3 seconds. Tony C., you are in the land of Dan Marino. Where are you and what are you doing?
Well, I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at Heinz Field, as you can see behind me here. I'm at the home of the Pittsburgh Steelers and, believe it or not, the Pittsburgh Panthers, who play tomorrow. We're going to cover that. The city that has three rivers in it, the Ohio, the Allegheny, and the Monongahela, and the Gila, I believe is how it's pronounced. Three rivers meet here. Real quick, guys, I want to focus on the city of Pittsburgh. We've got three things to cover, but I have to because of yesterday being in the Bronx and the Bronx Bombers. You guys haven't said anything about the Bronx Bombers last night again with a crushing 10 runs and 5 homers in 1 inning. The reason I say that is that, we have you guys always have your interesting play of the day. My most obvious play of the day is over Yankees again at the Red Sox. They're going to be smashing doubles and triples and everything you can imagine off of that green monster. I think you should go with the flow and take the over in that Yankee game, 10.5. There's an old saying by a great legend by the name of Yogi Berra, and it is, you can observe a lot by watching. Well, if you've been watching the New York Yankees the last just 3 days with the 20, 13, and 10 runs, you'll see the over is the play there in Boston tonight. Now, back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania here. I am at Heinz Field, but quickly, we also have baseball in Pittsburgh. We have a twin bill, Cardinals and Pirates. Another quote from the legendary Yogi Berra, it gets late early out there. Well, let me tell you something. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it's getting late early out there. The Cardinals had some games at hand earlier in the year. If you remember, early on in the season, I think only had maybe 1 or 2 games the first week of the season, and then the second week they missed a few games because of the coronavirus. They've got 5 games at hand. This is their chance to get some W's, to get something in the win column. They lost 5-1 last night. If they have any aspirations for the postseason to catch those Cubs, they've got to start winning. I mean, they've got to do it on the road, obviously, here tonight in Pittsburgh. So we've got a double header with Carlos Martinez in Game 1 and Trevor Williams. That game goes off at 1:05 Eastern. The second game is what I like. I like the over in the second game, over 7 runs with Chad Kuhl and Ponce de Leon for the Cardinals. The reason being is if you do your homework, Chad Kuhl, he hasn't gotten past the 5th inning in his last 3 starts. He's got an ERA of 5.81. So I really like the over in Game 2 tonight. Game 1 is going to be a 7-inning game. I'm not really crazy about that one. So there we are with baseball. Now, as far as college football goes, I am also, again, this is the home of his alma mater. You mentioned him, Dan Marino. Heinz Field. Well, they didn't play here at the time, but this is the home of the Pitt Panthers. We've got a game tomorrow with Syracuse. A very large line at 20.5. Pittsburgh comes in minus 20.5, and the over and under is 50. Pittsburgh just totally annihilated the Austin Peay Governors, 55-0 last week, and then Syracuse could hardly get any offense generated. They put 6 points on the board at North Carolina. I think probably maybe that was just a tune-up game for them. Maybe they could put 14 points on the board here in this one, or across the goal line a couple of times, or a couple of field goals. Pittsburgh has a potent offense here. They got a high-octane offense. I really believe that game will lean to the over 50 tomorrow, and that is Syracuse at the Pitt Panthers, which is right here behind me tomorrow. And finally, Sunday's big home opener here, Denver Broncos at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, it's a must-win for both teams, and I'll tell you why. Denver, if they have any playoff aspirations, they really do have to come in with a road victory. It's going to be tough for them, obviously. I mean, they hardly had any offense Monday night, but it's their second conference game. They lost to Tennessee, now against Pittsburgh. If they have any aspirations, the Broncos, you know what I mean? They even at 7-9 or 8-8 with the new playoff format, they might sneak in as a wild card, but they've got to win these conference games. Now, as far as the Steelers go, it's a must-win. Might even have a playoff vibe here tomorrow, even though it's the first game here at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has to win this. They lose, they're 1-1. They're tied with Cleveland. I mean, they've got to keep up with the Joneses. So they've got to keep up with the Baltimore Ravens. And believe it or not, their next 5 weeks, 4 of those games are against conference opponents. Denver, they play Cleveland in week 6. So they play the Houston Texans in week 3 after Denver. So they've got some conference play, and they've got to win these games if they have any playoff aspirations. Aside from all of that, I want Louis Bag of Diamonds to know that after I get done here, your man on the street, which, by the way, I'm going to have dinner with a lovely woman tonight from Pittsburgh who makes a hell of a tripe dinner. She's a good friend to Tommy Lasorda, so I'm in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to have dinner with this beautiful young lady tonight, Lou. Other than that, the man on the street, I'm going to throw it back to you, Brad, in the studio. I tell you, 7 cities in 9 days. And again, I'm not even running for office. I'm probably the greatest roadshow since Farnham and Baylor, the Harlem Globetrotters. With that, Brad, take it away. I'm going to throw it back to you guys, but over and over Game 2, St. Louis, over New York Yankees. Ride that wave. It's deja vu all over again with the over with the Yankees. Take it away.
Tony Cusimano, the man on the street. Welcome back to Bettor Center Live on LouisDiamond.com. Also YouTube at Louis Diamond. Thank you guys for joining. We are now joined by 3 new handicappers. Well, one of them is coming back. His name is Louis Diamond. You might have heard of him. But also we have 2 new guys, Ross Benjamin and Chip Chirimbes. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you, Brad.
Chip, what did you learn from yesterday?
Oh, boy, I'll tell you. I just think that the Cleveland Browns are a hard team to win with. That's for sure. And Burrow, I mean, he looked so good. He looked really good, and he had a lot of pressure on him. I think the kid's going to mature and going to be a great NFL quarterback. Starting his career 0-2 certainly doesn't help, but Aikman went 1-15, and Elway and those guys all suffered early on. And he did get drafted. He is playing for the worst team in the NFL, at least the worst team last year, the Cincinnati Bengals. But I got a lot out of that. And the Browns are just going to be one of these teams that you're going to have to struggle with year in and year out. And, some of us have a nemesis out there in sports, and maybe an NBA basketball team or a baseball team where it just seems that you can't win with or against them. And there are other teams, of course, where you're just always clocking in the right manner. But the Browns are a tough team to make money with. I'll tell you that much.
Louis.
Yes, sir.
D, what did you learn?
What did I learn from yesterday? Different than what we talked about in that first segment with Burrows having a weak defensive line. And I think A.J. Green is going to leave him hanging this year. I think Boyd is going to be his go-to guy. I think I kind of learned that. AJ has been delivered the goods a few times and hasn't been able to receive them. Let's put it that way. So I think that's kind of what I learned too. I think Boyd might be his go-to guy. And obviously Sample is coming in off of the injury, somebody to look forward to. He had a big game. So definitely saw that. I think he has a good target there.
All right, guys, welcome back. Well, thank you. All right, Chip, let's start with game number one, where Ross is hopefully on his way back.
I'm back.
Really?
You know where I was? You know, wait a minute.
Ross.
You know where I was?
Give it a Ross.
My wife locked the front door on me, and I came in the back door. And so did Cincinnati. And a winner is a winner. Is a winner, Al Michaels.
And
that's where I was, Brad. I'm coming
you know
through
what?
the back door.
If you were, and the truth of the matter is, if you had those depends on, like I told you, you wouldn't have had to leave real quick and then run back. So
there
you
go.
can have the Cincinnati Bengals. Congratulations, that was really great call.
I'm
And
sorry
you
for
had it all the way.
guys. I had it all.
I had
to run around the house and come through the back door for Chipper.
Ross,
yeah, we believe that.
That's a good excuse. I believe that. But what I learned yesterday is that you didn't get to do your most interesting play of the day, which you will do later.
Right.
It looks like you're going to double.
Yeah,
You're
I'll
gonna
do
have a double
two of
header.
them actually, Brad,
Yeah,
to
two
make
of
up
them.
for it. How's that?
Of course.
I think
How's
that's
that?
fair.
It's beautiful. But let's start with game number
Good
one, guys.
move.
Basketball.
All right.
NBA playoffs, game number one. Nuggets at the Lakers. We'll start with you, Ross.
I mean, in the first segment, they made a good point. I mean, look, the Lakers, the last two opening games of the series, sleepwalk through those games. And Denver, their last two opening games of the series, they won them both, and then they lost the next three, and then they won the next three. So there's definitely a pattern there. The only thing I don't like, and I think my partner Chipper is going to elaborate on this further, is the fact that where this game opened, I think at 6.5, it's up to 7, yet most of the money's on Denver. So I'm going to lean toward the total in this game, guys. I think that the Lakers' length on defense is going to give Denver fits. And I like what Denver has done defensively after for most of the time in the bubble, they couldn't guard anybody. And now they really see the more of the importance of the games have increased, the better their defensive play has gone. So slight lean for me, going under the total in game one of the Western Conference Final.
All right. I have it where the Lakers actually opened up plus 1.5. Now it's -7. Opened up at 2.5, 209.5. Now up to 210 on the over/under. Chips. Agree? Disagree?
Well, I don't know. Are you saying to me the opening line on this game was the Lakers 1.5?
That makes no sense.
I never saw it anything. I never saw it at anything but 7. So, and and here we have the
error on that might be an error. So
it might be a typo.
I see the error.
Because,
yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. So, Lakers are 7. They've sleptwalked, like everyone said, the opening game of the series. And but that's not the Nuggets style, because they don't need to win early. They're 1-3 in the two series they've come from behind. First time in NBA history a team has ever done that twice in the playoff series, down 3-1 and end up winning the series. I think the Lakers are going to be a little more attentive this time around. They know they don't have the Clippers and in front of them. They have the Denver Nuggets. Denver is, I believe it was 26-17 against the points on the last 43 meetings. But I don't know if that has any significance here. I just think the Lakers got it their way. They got a shortened season with a veteran team that were able to heal. And they have the two most powerful guys out there for that combination with Davis and LeBron James. LeBron is such an incredible facilitator. If there was anyone else could do anything on that team, I don't think there's anybody would be close to him. I'm going to take the Lakers in this game.
Thank you. Louis D., do you have anything to add or subtract?
No, I'm just kind of rolling with my under, and I'll be honest. From what I see, after I don't think that really was an error. I think you had an open number. Bookmaker had it at -1, and Bet Online had it at -1 on the 15th of September, and then bam, it got slammed. So I think there was a quick number out there. that actually got posted, and it got slammed ridiculously, and it came off the board and came back to 6.5. So that was, and that does happen a lot. And that's why if you're on the screen, you can actually grab certain little advantages. But the window was extremely short. So, but it was there. I had a couple different books. So, but anyways, that being said, I'm still rolling with a little bit of a lean on the under in this game. Back to you, Brad.
College football, Campbell at Coastal Carolina. It is currently now minus 28.5 Coastal Carolina over under at 60, and that opened up at 57. Chip, thoughts?
Yeah.
Big game.
Well, when I
think
of Campbell, I think of Andy Warhol, and I think of a tomato can, and I have no clue about either of these teams. And if you bet this game, you get what you deserve.
You need help.
Money. Fighting camels, baby.
Hey, you know what? Chip could not only play for Campbell, he would be a star. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, again,
good hands,
guys. Well, yep. FBS team against FCS team, big line. Louis mentioned that Campbell almost knocked off Georgia Southern last week, but Georgia Southern had 11 players get suspended 2 hours before game time, and that line went from 35 to 28.5. Campbell only 4 games this year, so they're of utmost importance to them. They're not going to catch anybody by surprise here. Look, Chipper said it. Yeah, look at me in the eye, folks. If you bet on this game, call 1-800-I-NEED-HELP.
Yes. Hey, Ross, that better be one heck of a party school. Louis D, do you have anything to add on that game?
What was that number again? 1-800-I-NEED-HELP. Hold on. I still believe there's a small can of beer game on it with all them points, and but nothing crazy. I mean, I like action, guys. I'm not going to hide behind it. And if I'm betting $10 on a game or $50 on a game or $25, you want to know something? Hollywood sucks. These are better than any fucking movie they put out. So, and I learned something at the end of it. So, I like to learn things when they're on TV. Fuck, I got all these TVs. Let me put them to fucking use. All right.
All right, Ross, we move to Major League Baseball. The Minnesota Twins at the Chicago Cubs. That opened up minus 130. Chicago now at minus 120 with Hill and Hendricks on the line. What are your thoughts for some MLB?
Well, I mean, I would not fade Kyle Hendricks at home. He's been terrific at Wrigley Field the last 2 years. The other gentleman touched upon that, so I'm not going to elaborate on that further because it would be redundant. And then you also have a Minnesota team. Look, there used to be a hockey coach, a head coach in Buffalo for the Sabres. His name was Lindy Ruff, okay? And I think Louis' eyes lit up, okay? You know what they used to call him, Chipper?
Great player.
Ruff at home and Lindy on the road. Okay, so that's the Minnesota Twins. They're 20-5 at home. They're 5 games under on the road. I'm gonna have a lean toward the Cubs here as a short favorite.
Chip, you heard that. What can you add?
Well, he's. I think the key factor here is Minnesota's play on the road compared to when they are at home, and I agree with him 100%. I love this guy, this Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs. He's so. If you play ball and you watch these guys at the plate, I don't think they're ever comfortable with him because you're getting so many different speeds and so many different pitches coming from angles. I just love the crap he throws up there, and people have difficulty putting the bat on the ball. That being said, Minnesota's going to be starting Hill, who's the veteran's been great. He's very effective. I don't know about. I'm talking about his career and his past, and I wouldn't have any problems taking him here, other than the fact that. Hendricks would be the way to go as far as I'm concerned, and Minnesota's road record it's self-evident. So I would play Chicago behind Hendricks over Minnesota.
All right, thanks, Chip. We're going back to college football, but this time they're bigger teams. We have Houston at Baylor. Game opened up Baylor -7, and now it's -4 with over under 60, now 61.5. Chip.
Well, I've a couple of concerns about this game, and the fact that I think Baylor's going to be the public side here, and Baylor obviously at 11-3 last year was a better team. 8-1, they won the conference, lost in the Sugar Bowl, but they did lose their coach, and he's already done a great job in the NFL, and that is huge. Why is this team only a 4-point favorite at home against a Houston team, like everyone said, has the coach's son backup quarterback? They lost their number one player last year. They have no running backs, and the line is only 4. I'm very, very skeptical of this line. I haven't done any real serious research on it. Today's my day, and tonight's my night. Everything will be up later on Friday. But right now, that line makes me very suspect. And I think it looks very inviting to take Baylor. I think it looks easy to come get me. So I'm going to say right now I'm on a hiatus as far as this giving you an answer or a side, but you know what I'm thinking.
I know what you're thinking. Does Ross know what you're thinking? Ross, do you have a play on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I know what he's thinking because that would be a hard task. And anytime you try to get inside anyway,
that have to hurt.
Yeah. Anyway, so all kidding aside.
I gave him enough hints.
All kidding aside, we're gonna, first game for both teams, and here it is, the third week of September. So not a lot to go on here, other than the fact that Baylor has a new coaching staff. Okay, shortened off season. So Chipper makes a good point. Why are they only a 4-point favorite at home? Nationally ranked team a season ago, 11-3. Only 2 returning starters on defense for Baylor. Yes, Houston lost to Rick King, but they also have 19 returning starters, including 10 on the offensive side of the ball. This line opened at 7, went down to 4. I would tend to agree with Chipper that if there is a side, it probably is. It looks like Baylor is a sucker play, and no disrespect to anybody, but just from my perspective. But here's where I'm going with this game. I think when you look at Houston's history and Dana Holgorsen as a head coach, he's an offensive mind. He pays very little attention to defense, even back in his days at West Virginia. And I think that we'll see plenty of points scored in this game. I believe the total is around 61, Brad. And my early lean right now would be on going over the total in that contest.
All right, fair enough. Louis D, Ragin Cajuns minus 15.5 at the Panthers with the over-under 57.
Right. Well, you got an under team with the Ragin Cajuns, and you got an over team with the Panthers. I see both of them going different directions as far as the total is concerned. Cajuns are definitely a hot team, or the hotter team coming in. If you want to look at the last 26 games, they are 18-8 against the number. And Georgia State, they don't do well when they play a team with a winning record, 9-2 against the number. So I'm going to give a little lean on UL Lafayette, but those are just trends. You got to go a little bit deeper. I haven't gone too much deeper into this game. Maybe one of these guys did. So back to you.
All right, Ross, what are your thoughts?
All right. So, again, this is one of my most interesting plays of the day. I'll get it out of the way now because I have 2 of them. UL Lafayette coming off that upset win at Iowa State last week as a double-digit underdog. At that time, Iowa State was the number 23 ranked team in the land. Number 1, I thought they were overvalued, Iowa State to start with. Not overvalued in that particular game, but overrated. Let me put it that way. And UL Lafayette proved that to be true. That was the first win by UL Lafayette in program history on the road against a ranked opponent. Now they go on the road against a fellow Sun Belt opponent that was 7-5 a season ago. Yeah, they don't do well against winning teams. It's still early in the year, guys. It's only one game. So yes, UL Lafayette is 1-0. For anything else, guys, you see this line open at 17 and moves down to 15.5. I just can't believe for the life of me that a team like UL Lafayette, who's coming off such a monumental win, is going to be anywhere close to mentally stoked as they were a week ago. And Georgia State certainly had the benefit of watching the tape on that game. I'm not going to call for the outright upset here, Brad, but I am going to take the points, 15.5. I'm going to take Georgia State plus the 15.5 against UL Lafayette. No, I'm not calling for the upset, but it would not shock me whatsoever if this game goes right down to the wire.
Very good, Ross. I want to stay with you just on the Ragin Cajuns minus 15.5 at the Panthers, over under 57. What your thoughts are for that game?
I just gave it to you, I think.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. Hey,
Yes,
Brad.
Wait, Brad, let me rewind the tape. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah,
I rewound it.
That's okay. No. Hey, look,
Chip.
we're all entitled to mistakes, except for Louis Bag of Diamonds. He's perfect.
Damn straight. Whoa. You guys witnessed the greatest thing ever. I made a mistake 3 days ago. The first time in 50-some years. And you guys were able to witness
It
that.
happens.
Hey, Brad, you're my
Yeah.
man. Just continue on. It was a mistake. No biggie. Let's go.
All right, Chip, go ahead.
No. Oh, really? Okay, this is a great one. Ditto. I agree with everything that Ross said. That's all I can tell you. To me, it's more. I don't care who they're playing. It's a psychological impact of last week's win, and it is a conference opener, and they are on the road. Like you said, Georgia Southern's had a little time to observe what they saw last week, but I can't see this Louisiana team, Lafayette Cajuns, coming to play. I mean, they're going to come to play, but they still have to be riding high. I think it's really tough for them to get in the same place they were last week. I would take the dog, no matter who they are in this game.
That brings us to the most interesting play of the day. So we're going to bring back every one of our team, our staff, our pro handicappers. And we already got Ross's. So let's go with Louis Bag of Diamonds. You start us off with your most interesting play of the day that we waited so long and patiently for.
Well, it's going to be well worth the wait because it's going to be a nice little teaser, and it's going to be an NFL teaser that I am going to roll a barrel and fill up the truck and make some money with here this weekend. So, and let's just, let's look at reality. Baltimore is just, dominating, absolutely dominating. So is there any, and Houston, absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. Is there any possible way in your mind that you could think that Baltimore's not going to win this game? Not in my mind. I'm teasing them down. They're probably on the cover as well. But I'm giving you a free teaser here right now. So Baltimore, there's your first play on the teaser. 6-point teaser, guys. 6-point teaser. Don't go to the 7. 6 points only. So then we're going to throw in, after that, we're going to play the Cardinals. So Cardinals' big win last week. Are they going to be flat? Even if they are a little flat, Redskins are coming off the big win last week. I don't think the Redskins are going to be able to compete with the Cardinals this week. They get back down to reality. Cardinals, obviously, I'm high on Kyler Murray. So we're rolling with the Cardinals as the other team. The Chiefs. How are the Chiefs not going to crush this Charger team? How can the Chargers get points on the board? How can the Chiefs not put points on the board? How are they not in your teaser this weekend? And your last team will be the New Orleans Saints. Come on. They're going to be plus. You're going to get them at +2. They're probably going to crush these Raiders. The Saints are an awesome road team. I don't care if it's the Raiders' first home game or whatever it is. 2 different ball clubs. It's a nice 4-team teaser for you for Sunday. I took a little wind out of it, though, so gave you too much time. But 4-team teaser for Sunday. Write it down, cash it Sunday night. Back to you, Brad.
That brings us to Chip Chirimbes' most interesting play of the day.
Well, one thing I learned, don't be afraid about laying runs with the New York Yankees. My goodness, what a powerhouse. But today in Major League Baseball, I'm going to be playing against the Chicago White Sox. I'm going to be playing Cincinnati Reds at home. And the crazy thing about this matchup is Cincinnati has been absolutely blown out by the White Sox at home. White Sox have a major advantage there. I think it's like 17-7, something along those lines. But today I've got a hurler on the mound that's got incredible numbers for the Reds. He's only making his 3rd or 4th start of the season. He's been out of the bullpen. AJ. I'm trying to forget his last name, but Antoine, Antone. He has pitched 27 innings, 39 strikeouts, only given up 17 hits. Those are the kind of numbers I like to back. I have Cincinnati over the White Sox today.
Thank you. Let's go back to our previous sports handicappers. Dell Warfield, are you with us right now?
Yep, still with you, Brad. So for my most
you.
interesting play today, I'm going to baseball as well. Between the Royals and the Brewers, I like this total game going under. Open up at 9. You might go down to 8.5. I think it's juiced right now at -120 for the under. You got Duffy versus Hauser on the mound today. I think I talked about this in one of my previous most interesting plays. That Duffy's is probably my most favorite pitcher for the Royals. You know, he has that. You know, he's able to get ground balls, able to get those double plays to get out of trouble most of the time. So mostly based off of line movement, action coming in. I really like this game under. We're 4-0 in our last 4. It was interesting plays, so we're hoping to ride that to 5 today.
Tony G, you are back. Most interesting play.
All right, so I've already talked about I like the Cubs today in their baseball matchup. I'm going to give you a play for tomorrow's college football, the early game, just so might not have time to get to it tomorrow. I'm going to give you Duke as they have their home opener. Like Duke, I'm noting here that they got their transfer. Their quarterback was a transfer from Clemson. I thought he actually didn't play too bad against Notre Dame. Duke did cover the spread. I think there's so many problems for Boston College. I know they improved. I think their offense might be okay this year. We'll see with the new coach for Boston College. I think there's a lot to be look forward to for Duke. I think they actually, with this guy, this quarterback's going to be something that's going to help them win some games in the ACC this year. And I think this is definitely going to be one of – I think they got Boston College at a disadvantage, and I think Duke is going to get the win. So, for me, the most interesting play is a game in the morning, 12 o'clock East Coast time. I'm going to play Duke laying the points against Boston College.
Let's go back to Ross. Since we missed you yesterday, do you have another play for us?
Well, hopefully I don't drop the mic like I did yesterday. That was most interesting. That's what happened yesterday, actually. And then I try to reconnect, and anyway, NFL, Philadelphia and the Rams at Philly. Look, public perception. The Rams were on national TV last Sunday night. They beat the high and mighty Dallas Cowboys. The Philadelphia Eagles blow a 17-0 lead to the lowly Washington Redskins and lose a game 27-17. It's a pick'em game. West Coast, like Lou likes to say, West Coast team coming to the East Coast and playing an early game. The obvious choice for a lot of bettors who have a short memory is remembering what happened last Sunday. But I don't have a short memory, guys. I just think this is going to be a sucker play on the Rams. I think Philly was embarrassed last week. Despite giving up 27 points, they held the Redskins at somewhere around 230 yards of total offense. They were victimized by a -3 turnover differential in that game. So my most interesting play of the day in the NFL on Sunday is on the Philadelphia Eagles as a pick'em over the LA Rams.
Are you sure you don't want a third most interesting play of the day? Or are you good for today?
For my plays this weekend in college football and the NFL, you can go to my website. That's rbwins.com, rbwins.com. Folks, my last 3 in the NFL, 2 winners on Monday night, another winner last night. And this is documented, independently documented by sportscapping.com. Since 2013, in the month of September, my NFL picks are 102-51. That's 67%. I challenge anybody out there who thinks I'm full of shit to go and check and verify that at cappersaccess.com. Sportscapping.com. And you know what? You talk about being ahead of the bookmakers early on. You better get them early because they're going to be real sharp as the season goes on. I've proven to do that over the last 7 years, Brad.
That is true. He is not full of poo, but we are out of time. Oh, don't forget chipwins.com, louisdiamond.com, thegreatwhitecapper.com. All of us right here at Bettor Center Live for more up-to-date information and picks. Check us out at louisdiamond.com and YouTube at Louis Diamond. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Special thanks to Eugene, our producer and director. If you don't play, you won't win. Bettor Center Live. I'm Brad. Have a wonderful day.